guys for being here. I wore this hat today for a reason. Sorry to disappoint, but I did not vote for Donald Trump. I didn't vote at all, actually, because you know, I didn't find the candidate I wanted to vote for, and I stick by that, and I'm not embarrassed to admit that. But the reason I wore this hat today was to see the looks that I was getting today. Even literally as I'm standing here, people laughing, looking at me. But people are scared to even talk to me. No one would ask me questions, no one will challenge things. And Linda, sorry, I pulled up something that, that you said recently.
Don't pull your phone out your pocket fast.
Yeah, you might have gotten slammed to the ground. Fast moves.
You said it's not my job to educate Jewish people that Palestinians deserve dignity, and I'm not going to talk about whether I agree or disagree with that, but the fact that you and other people alike seem to close out groups that they don't agree with, or people that they just think are crazy, let's say. My grandmother's from Mexico City. She came here. She actually voted for Donald Trump, and she too is not embarrassed to say that. But my question is, how can you guys expect to get anywhere when you shut out people who disagree with you and just distance them even more?
Therefore, stay unapologetic and keep your eye on the prize and pay no mind to the haters. So I'm going to answer the brother's question here because I know he was specifically got up to talk to me, and I appreciate that actually. I actually want to commend you for coming up here and standing up and asking me that question. And we have to be really clear about what you're asking. I have actually no problem having a conversation with you, and happy to give you my personal email for you to have that conversation with me, because you got up here and made me feel like a human being by asking me that question. And what I said was, and again, the taking out of context and not allowing us to see each other as human beings, is that what I say is I don't want to sit with people who don't recognize my existence. So for example, if you are a person that doesn't believe that Palestine actually exists, I cannot sit at a table with people who deny me my existence. And what is important is that we can't have, especially when we're talking about Jewish and Muslim people. This is really important, and I want people to listen to me very carefully. White supremacy thrives on anti-Semitism, right? That's the origins of white supremacy. It's anti-Semitism. It's actually not anti-black racism. It's anti-Semitism. And we know if we allow anti-Semitism to fester in this country, we know the potential of what could happen if that is allowed and we turn a blind eye to that. So what I caution people is when anyone is pro-Israel and aligns themselves with neo-Nazis, that is very dangerous. And it is something that needs to be questioned by our sisters and brothers in the Jewish community.
That's right.
So what I'm saying to you here is what I said yesterday at the Racial Justice March. I actually said a couple of things that were before and after what you said. I said that I am exhausted. It is not my job to teach white people how to be anti-racist. It is the job of white people to teach other white people how to be anti-racist. It is not my job as a Palestinian Muslim American woman to teach Jewish people or those who are pro-Israel that Palestinians too deserve dignity and self-determination and human rights. It's not my job anymore. I'm tired. So when we talk about allyship, right, when we talk about true allyship, it shouldn't be that black people have to sit here and re-traumatize themselves by telling you about what it feels like to be a black person, or tell you the stories of unarmed people in their community, sometimes their brothers, their cousins, their uncles, their sisters getting killed at the hands of law enforcement. It should be other white people, other Latinx people, other Arab American people that go back into their own communities and to do that work. There is nobody that is shut out of this movement. There is no building with doors, right? There is no building with doors where we stand at the door and say, pull out your political card, we want to know where you stand on these issues. And the other thing that is really important around this organizing work, and I'm saying this to you in this room, sometimes you got to show up in an organizing space that is not about you. I am a Palestinian Muslim American woman with light skin, and I show up in a black space to organize around mass incarceration and the killing of unarmed black people. Guess what? It ain't about Palestine when I get there. Right. And you know what? I'm not going to make it about Palestine when I get there, because at that moment, there's another community that is traumatized, that is hurt, that is broken, that I am helping to support and uplift. So, your approach to organizing, right, if you are, for example, right, Zionist, and you come to a march for racial justice that has very clear, yesterday they had very clear, they talked about police accountability, right, ending mass incarceration, ending deportations. They literally had a whole thing, and you knew it because it was on the website, so hopefully you already endorsed that when you came. So for you to come to a march that is about racial justice, and for you to be a young white Jew that is holding up a sign that you're a Zionist, that wasn't going to drive well with the people that were there because you actually didn't show up in a space to stand with the black people and communities of color and undocumented people and LGBTQI people. So that's the kind of controversy that we find ourselves in, that when we come to space, sometimes it's just not about us. And it's okay that it's not about you. Sometimes we got to show up for trans people. It's not about me. Sometimes I got to show up to a synagogue that got vandalized because Jewish people are hurt. We had to call our Jewish friends when Charlottesville happened. That day, it wasn't about a mosque that was vandalized. Right. So for people to understand that we are complex human beings, and that when I show up into a space, you will not tell me to leave my Palestinianness out because it makes some people feel uncomfortable. It is who I am and who I'm always going to be in every space that I'm in. So I hope that we have these courageous conversations, that young men like you can come up in a space and ask me a question and make me feel like you want to listen to what I have to say, because I want to hear what you have to say. But there's an assumption that we don't want to hear. So let's not assume, and one of the things about Kingian nonviolence, and I hope people study the principles of Kingian nonviolence, is that suspend your first judgment. That's what Kingian nonviolence starts with. Attack evil and not the people doing evil. We don't care about individual white racists. I don't care about individual white Nazis. I care about ending white supremacy. I want to dismantle systems of oppression in this country. I don't care about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not my concern. Because you know what? White supremacy will be here way after Donald Trump. Anti-Semitism, if we don't address it, will be here way after Donald Trump. So I hope that if you have further questions, that all of our emails are our first names at womensmarch.com, and that you ask any question that you want. I don't care what question it is. We want to be able to have that conversation with you.